With the It prequel series, It Welcome to Derry, about to be released, we are starting to get first reactions, and a lot of them have been overwhelmingly positive, which could be a good sign or a red flag depending on how jaded you are. Now we all know we can't always go off of early reactions because more often than not, the people sharing those reactions have early access to the show for a reason. That being said, from my own personal perspective, I would not be surprised if It Welcome to Derry was very good, simply because the It reboot itself was phenomenal, and I would expect a continuation of that to hopefully keep the same energy. But the question is, would It Welcome to Derry being a success signify that everyone is wrong about Andy Muschietti, and that he is in fact the perfect person to bring the DCU Batman to life? The fanboys believe that to be the case, but I personally have my doubts. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
As we all know, social media is all about building narratives. It's not about taking the information at your disposal and drawing logical conclusions from it. No, it's more about certain accounts trying to prop up or tear down, depending on the situation, that thing that they either want to succeed or fail. And I believe that director Andy Muschietti is the most recent example of that.
Why?
Over the past couple of days, I've seen a certain level of support suddenly being thrown in his direction from the accounts you would expect. We have horror accounts speaking highly of him, which to me is warranted. He has earned that praise in that genre. The man played a major part in reinventing the It franchise for a modern audience in the best way possible. The It reboot starring Bill Skarsgård kind of reinvented the wheel. Pennywise himself got a next-level redesign. The film felt epic, brutal, intense, and is easily one of the best Stephen King adaptations of all time. And I believe that Andy Muschietti deserves his flowers for that. Nobody can take that success story away from him. That is the very reason why a lot of people have a lot of optimism going into It Welcome to Derry. We've seen him succeed in this genre, in this franchise, in this realm before. And if he can continue to do that, that would be something special.
That makes sense.
The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is that people are now creating a false equivalency between what he's doing with It and what he could potentially do with Batman. Like this person who said, quote, Andy Muschietti proving why he's the perfect man for Brave and the Bold and the DCU Batman. If studios listened to Twitter and fired a director after one bad project, we wouldn't see half the amazing films and performances that we see today. Other accounts shared similar reactions, even going as far as to say people are going to switch up on Andy Muschietti after they see Welcome to Derry. And this, my friends, is yet another instance of fanboys not understanding how the filmmaking process works. I don't know who needs to hear this, but there is a massive difference between making an effective horror movie and making an effective comic book movie.
Get the fuck out of here! No, I cannot, it's serious!
And yes, we've seen what he is capable of in both genres, and while he excelled in the horror genre, his work in the comic book movie genre left a lot to be desired. He didn't just make a bad movie. He made one of the worst comic book movies ever put on screen that also just so happened to fail spectacularly in the process. And this is what I do not understand about accounts and people like this who say that this criticism, or hate as they call it, is not warranted. When in fact all that really happened was people responded to a movie that clearly did not meet their expectations. I guess that's going to happen when you have some people calling one of the worst movies of the year the best comic book movie they've ever seen.
I understood that reference.
Not only did Andy Muschietti not make a good Flash movie, that movie also just so happened to feature two iconic cinematic Batmen that were completely ruined throughout the course of that film. And you want people to blindly be excited about the prospect of Andy Muschietti creating his own Batman. What proof do we have that he can successfully translate the skill that he showed with the It reboot to a comic book movie? The answer is none. And for those of you out there who are still saying that Michael Keaton's Batman saved the movie, and that is somehow proof of Any Muschietti's capabilities, Michael Keaton's Batman was nothing more than a gimmick in that movie that WB hoped would put butts in seats, and it did not work. People saw through the promotion that featured him heavily and realized he was the Tim Burton Batman we know and love in name only. Same goes for Batfleck, by the way.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Do not let the internet gaslight you into believing that your skepticism over an Andy Muschietti Batman movie is not justified. Was he the sole reason that The Flash ended up being an abomination? No, absolutely not. I mean, Ezra Miller deserves some blame. I think James Gunn deserves some blame. And I do believe that the incompetent studio who created the film deserves a lot of blame as well. But like it or not, Andy's name was very much attached to that film in a significant way, and that's going to stick with him until he can prove that he is capable of something better in the comic book movie genre. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with anyone who feels that way. We are way beyond the point of giving anyone the benefit of the doubt when it comes to creating comic book movies. And that goes for Andy, that goes for James Gunn, that goes for DC and WB as a whole. In a perfect world, maybe he will reinvent Batman in the way that he was able to reinvent Pennywise. But for me, that is far from a foregone conclusion by any stretch of a fanboy's imagination.
Y'all be cool. Nah.